again. Another angle, another setup. You know what? We're gonna keep the people on their toes. You never know what you're gonna get from week to week.
Yeah, listen, bro, they may catch me without glasses. They may catch me with glasses one week. You never know.
You may catch me with a haircut one week, and a lot of weeks you may not. We're gonna catch me with the do-rag on. Looking scruffy as hell.
Changes.
Change, man. You never know. Like we regular niggas. Listen, man. Can you imagine we get to the point that we have our own like on-staff barber? That we getting lined up before shows.
That's up next.
That's up next. We're gonna turn Hollywood on you.
That's up next. Yeah. Like 1 minute. Let me just get this cut real quick.
Hold on. Our barber might give us cuts while we do the pod. You know what I'm saying? Shout him out.
You know what I mean?
But y'all, this is Everything is Everything. I'm your boy Stefan.
It's your boy Jiggy.
And we're back again with another week of great topics, insightful topics, diverse topics. Y'all like, comment, and subscribe. You notice that other YouTubers got the hype button? I don't know if we have enough followers or subscribers to get the hype button, but if you can hype us up, hype us up.
Hype us up.
Share it. Share the post. Interact with the Instagram and the TikTok. Me and TikTok don't get along. I'm a millennial. That's what it is. TikTok has a millennial bias. And don't want to get us cracking on that site. But the Instagram page, thank y'all for liking, sharing, commenting under the post. It really means a lot to us. Jiggy, bro, how you been? How was your week?
Yo, bro, my week has been very good, man. I'm very excited. The playoffs is about to start. Ooh. There's a lot of introspective conversations that have been happening, which is great to see, you know what I mean? As far as, we had that taboo conversation last week. And, I started, you know what? I think my phone was listening to some of the things we were saying. Because this will start bringing up a whole bunch of different things about the conversations. But, it's real interesting. I know we got some interesting topics today. From,
from dating to AI
to the president.
You
know what I mean? But,
and everything in between.
Yeah, but I can't wait to get into some of these topics. You know why, bro? Because our perspective that we have right now is to open up more dialogue and more conversations.
Exactly,
right?
And that's what it is.
And we want people to just feel the conversations that we're trying to have and want to and make more conversations of it. Just reference us once it starts.
Hey, listen, remember the source. We don't got to be the first, but just don't forget about us.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
I mean?
Yeah, that's it. We just want just a little bit of credit. We ain't got to get the whole enchilada and nothing like that, but just a little bit of credit. But yeah, bro, like you said, topics that are taboo. I think we're gonna be breaking down two taboo topics. Dating's kind of become taboo nowadays, bro. Like, you always hear people say like the dating pool has piss in it. And maybe it does.
Yeah.
Some dating pools, maybe someone laid a turd in there. Because I've seen some bad horror stories. And I just been thinking about it, like, why is that? Like, why has dating become such a strenuous thing? I mean, mind you, we know that dating is very risky. Like, you could like somebody, you could not like somebody. It could go well, it could not go well. We've all probably seen a bad breakup or two. Maybe even sometimes we're like a product of bad divorces from seeing that with our parents. So there's like a lot of weight and emotion that comes behind dating. And I start to look at the internet part of it, right?
Yeah.
We speak a lot about outside forces kind of playing or dictating our emotions, like even simple things like rage bait. I think a lot of times when it comes to dating, and we can only really speak from the men aspect of it, so
right.
I'm more so going to be addressing the men and how I think men can go about making dating easier for themselves. And in return, it might make dating easier for the ladies themselves, right?
Yeah.
There's so many euphemisms and sayings I feel like the internet kind of pumps out there that drills a perspective that doesn't translate well in real life. But people who are interacting with this content is taking that and trying to apply it in real life scenarios, and it doesn't bode well. Things like, she's never gonna love you as much as you love her. How one goes about measuring that, I have no clue. That in itself don't really make sense to me, right? Like, love isn't really tangible and there's no real metric to weigh. It's something that you feel and that people express through a myriad of ways, but it is still, you see people really kind of living and dying by that. Another one I've seen is, men love women for who they are and women love men for their money or what they can provide. Once again, not really, bro. You know what I mean? That doesn't really make sense. I think you're probably around the wrong people for hearing that. Another one could be like women. What do they be saying? Like women control the access to sex or something like that. I'm like, no, sex is consensual. It means it takes two to tango. It means both parties have to say yes. Like you guys are adults. You should be knowing that, right? And the list goes on and on, right? But one thing I just want to like put into perspective is dating should come when you feel confident in yourself, right? Because sometimes when you're not feeling confident in yourself, you might project that onto others. And it never looks good when you project your insecurities onto women. And that shows up in a lot of bad ways. Some of the worst ways is like abuse. But even if it's always trying to find ways to control them, trying to quote unquote like assert your dominance, like you shouldn't be wanting to dominate your partner. Your partner should be someone who you are fluid with, that you guys grow together, that you pour into one another, not one side, ruling with an iron fist. This is so toxic and dangerous now because it's showing up even in stats, right? I'm going to actually read one. This is for Gen Z specifically. And it says, approximately 42% of Gen Z adults report struggling with depression and feelings of hopelessness, double the rate of adults over 25. Studies show 61% of Gen Z have received a medical diagnosis of anxiety, with high rates, burnout, loneliness, and stress driven by economic, social, and future-related concerns. Heavy on the economic and social part of that for me, right? Because I mean, it's no question that things are super expensive right now. And it's no question that social media adds social pressures, even if it's just online digitally. And I just want to take a quick break there and hear your thoughts on some of the things that
bro, listen, bro, it is in relationships, I think not just the women or men, we all have like that most people have that main character issue, right? Where they feel like, things have to be adjusted just around them. And things are supposed to be done just for them, right?
Right.
And I think one of the great things you were saying, but one of the things I do believe is that it's teamwork, right? You have the expectation of what a woman thinks a man is, and you have the, vice versa, right? And people don't realize, like, in certain situations where women look at men and be like, hey, listen, you should do this as a man, you do this as a man. Now you, as a woman, is telling a man what a man should be.
Right.
And vice versa. A man sitting there telling a woman what a woman should be. And it's crazy, right? Because they haven't even figured out what a true man or woman is be for their own individual self, you know what I mean? And, those topics, the thing about it is that the teamwork part of it, right, is that you have to take away that ego, right? That the ego is what drives people to a different level. If I was this person in a relationship based off of another person's mindset or whatever the case is, I'm going to the next relationship like, well, my last girl treated me like this, and this happened with her. You should be, you know what I mean?
Right.
Okay, now you just bring that into the new relationship, and I think that's what a lot of these kids do nowadays. They see so many examples that point out to them what a relationship is, what a man is, what a woman is, what a woman and woman is, or what a man and man is, right? And they feel like it has to be that way, just like you said, right? But how are they not supposed to think that? Let's take away the fact that. Let's take away what they show them, what they show us, right? If they take that away, right, how do you think people will respond in relationships at that point, right? Because they wouldn't have nothing to go off of, right? They wouldn't have that, this is what a man should be and this is what a woman should be, right? And today, like you said, was bringing up those problems, those numbers is coming out. It's simple, right, bro? It's simple. It's just the fact that people are really looking at social media, right? Using it as its base. And allowing it to control their lives,
right?
And I can't wait to get to another topic we're going to talk about later, where we talk about D1 and
Big Bank
right? And how one of the aspects that in that conversation that they were talking about is just how like we're kind of like brainwashed, right, to believe certain things, right? And then when you tell that person, even speak the logic to them that they brainwash or these things don't make sense, they don't want to believe it because they've been believing it their whole life. You know what I mean? And that's where I think a lot of this generation suffering at, is still trying to live this life and still trying to get there. Still like, wait, I'm seeing this, but I'm living this. I can't get past the fact this doesn't make sense. And I think that's what a lot of them are dealing with.
Bro, the brainwashing is real. I mean, I've had some of these talks like in real life with people, and you explain something like basic, and you see the reaction. It's like, oh, dang, you kind of deep into this. You know what I mean? Simple things don't feel simple to them, or they're not able to process it because they're like, in the moment, it's not so much what you said, it's them trying to come to grips with like, oh snap, the thing I believed in may not be fully right or fully correct or like as strong as I thought it was. And I can say this, right? One thing I feel like the internet is taking away from humans is like knowing how to be human. Like even with dating, like from my experience, it was like phases. It was like when you're, you know, between ages like 11, 13, maybe even 14, you're probably, at least for me, maybe a little bit more shy, a little bit more inward, and you maybe not feeling yourself that much or as confident, and you're, you know, you have a crush, but you're afraid to talk to her. Like you see this even in like 90s sitcoms, you know what I'm saying? Like you admire a girl from a distance and you write her a note and maybe she rejects it and you're like, dang, that broke my heart. But you learn to live with the rejection and move on, right? And then you grow into yourself, and then you maybe meet someone who affirms you in a way that goes, oh, that wasn't so bad. Like there's nothing really to be afraid of. Like women don't need to be something that I'm afraid of, or rejection doesn't need to be something that I'm afraid of. Like rejection is just a no. Like hell, listen y'all, rejection's not bad. Your mom's told you no your whole life for a lot of things. You done been in the grocery store wanting the box of cereal, your mom said no, or you've been wanting the toy or the video game you wanted and your dad said no. Like no is just not right now. Yeah. It's not suitable for you right now. Maybe no turns into a yes later. Just stay the course. Don't be like the kid in the middle of the Publix, kicking and screaming on the floor, throwing a tantrum. That looks like that as a child. For some men, they get rejected and they call women out their names, and these dudes are like in their 30s. You know what I mean? Once again, you're scaring the women, fellas. Calm down just a little bit. Just a little bit. As you grow and you learn to deal with rejection, and rejection doesn't attack, like you said before, your ego, things become a lot more copacetic. But the big thing, too, is empathy. Like, we don't know what it's like to be each other, but as a human-to-human basis, we should have empathy for one another and understanding each other's struggles and understanding each other's perspectives. Like, as a man, I can never speak to what it's like to have a cycle once a month, the pain that comes with that, the struggles that come with that, how you have to, you know, maneuver your life around that. And as a woman, you may not know what it's like to have the pressure of like maybe wanting to be a provider, but not knowing how to get to that point, or knowing what it's like, feeling like when you step out into the world's against you, you know?
Yeah.
But you can have empathy by listening and understanding each other and saying like, you know what? There's a way for me to not necessarily to protect you, but to aid you in some of your troubles and some of the areas in life that you might need help in, and vice versa. It goes the same way.
You think people should like, bro? It's like one thing, right? Like, we can't lie. Like you said, the prices and everything is getting extremely high. Right? Mm-hmm. The economy is crazy right now, and that impact on people's relationships is bigger than I think people even realize. Mm-hmm. Right? Nobody want to be together, and y'all both broke and can't go nowhere. You can't eat nothing, right? You know what I'm saying? And then as soon as one of them get the opportunity to at least eat, you know what I mean? They out. You get what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. And this economy kind of forces that. You get what I'm saying? I mean, Chris Brown said it best. I mean, he said like, these hoes ain't loyal, but he's not specifically talking. I know he's talking about women, but that goes for everybody. Mm-hmm. You get what I'm saying? Somebody sees something that's much better than what they can even do or provide. hey, listen, I'm leaving this. Let me go to the next thing. And it becomes like Pokemon. You know, they collect them. I got to catch them all. You get what I'm saying? And I mean, listen, bro, I'll tell you this right now. A lot of people, you know, it's hard to figure out the next person in a relationship. I'll tell you this right now, bro. I wouldn't advise people to feel like to get into relationships. I wouldn't advise people to. You know why? It's because I feel like a lot of people get into relationships and do not understand themselves.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying? And all they do is hurt the other person and they don't take the time to understand themselves and what's going on with them. And all they do is tear down the other person. That person may have been here. And you just tearing them down because you haven't understood. And then they go, you know what? Yeah, I don't think I'm good for you. We shouldn't be together. I'm just going to hurt you. You get what I'm saying? And that person comes in with a perspective like, yo, I'm willing to help, right? Bro, you know, it's tough out here with that type of perspective. You get what I'm saying? If people are tearing themselves down and they don't even know it, they definitely going to tear you down. And you got to see that.
Yeah, and that's why you know, like I said, like when we started with, you know, being comfortable with yourself. I like the point that you brought up, like about, you know, the minute this person gets like the meal, they out. That's another thing with social media. It's like you have this delusion of options, so to speak. You know, you have this delusion of access. You feel like, oh, because this person follows you or that person follows you, that I can reach out and get this or get that or flirt with this and flirt with that. And really and truly, the grass ain't always greener. You know what I'm saying? The grass may be a different color, but it doesn't necessarily mean it's better or more healthy, or even more abundant, you know? So I feel like it's important to even practice discernment and have that mindset of like, oh, no, I recognize these characteristics in this type of person, and that's actually something that's beneficial to my life. How can I, you know, reflect those attributes in my way into their life? And you get that bond and that relatability. And like I said, bro, it's such a symbiotic thing. You know what I mean? It's like when you look at nature and you'll see like certain fishes that swim underneath the shark provides protection, and the fish is cleaning out bacteria from underneath the shark. You know what I mean? Like, you kind of have to have a symbiotic, healthy mindset when you're entering a relationship, because, like, to your point, if you don't and you're not sure of yourself, you'll find yourself tearing yourself down. And even in all this, bro, something that I want to bring up with the social media thing is the incident that happened with the OpenAI CEO. His house was under attack. He had a bad week. he had a really, really bad week, because it was early in the week. Yeah. The CEO, Sam Altman for OpenAI, for some of you who may not know, like a lot of y'all like ChatGPT, he's the head of that. Yeah. He kind of sparked this whole AI. He's like the face of this AI revolution that we're in. And I mean, within a week of each other, not even a week, it was a few days. I mean, someone tried to throw like a cocktail at his home and like light it on fire. Mm-hmm. And then someone let off shots into his house. And I'm thinking to myself, I'm like, what would make him do that? And I'm like, well, in relation to what we're talking about with the social media aspect and how that's paying negative effects on people's dating lives, AI is running amok. I mean, people are losing their jobs to AI. People are getting fooled every day with fake videos of AI. You know what I'm saying? Like, AI seems to be posing a real human threat, and I don't know if it's loud enough yet, if people are speaking. Now, I'm not saying that the actions taken are appropriate. Yeah. I don't think that's the solution. But what I will say is I think it's a glimpse into how passionate people are when they're anti-AI to a degree, right? To the point where it's like, have you seen any of the, I know you're not on social media as much, I don't know if you come across these AI relationship advice characters on YouTube. Like, bro, they got AI podcasts. So, listen, bear with me, y'all. They have AI podcasts. And at first glance, if you don't really look, like if you're just mindlessly scrolling, you might think that's a real girl or a real man talking, right? Just like on some scrolling through. And some of it, to me, maybe I'm just being, what's the word, cynical? Mm-hmm. some of the black voices, I just be feeling it's a little bit racist. Some of the black voices, I just be feeling like, there's a little bit, I was like, why you got this like light-skinned girl with like Bantu knots talking about some, yeah, girl, and let me tell you something about my man, and like, you know what I'm saying? Put on this like heavy black scent kind of thing. I'm like, I don't know who's behind the computer doing this, but like, like I kind of cringe, you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't, like, it feels inhumane, inauthentic, and it just feels very stereotypical, but they exist. And sometimes as humans, this is going to relate to our music topic later in the pod, but we make it easy for them to mimic us, especially with the fake podcast trend where like, it's not even a conversation, but it's just like, almost like punching lines. Bro. Like someone sits in front of a mic and pretend like Jiggy's not here. It's just like me and the camera. I'm just like, and let me tell you something about success. Success only matters. You dig what I'm saying,
yeah,
bro?
I feel you.
So I'm saying all this to say like, it's like we don't even learn how to be humans. Like I was bringing up the growth prospect of, you know, going through dating. It's like we're getting real life, like we're really getting digitalized, if that's the word. You know what I mean? And to see early actions of revolts against the CEOs, and we've had instances in the past. I forget. I think it was it United Health CEO last year that tragically lost his life?
They got shot in the head.
Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like, we're really in a boiling pot. And I just be wondering, like, how much could humanity take before it really continues to just boil over or possibly explode?
It's a difference, right? Like, so, for instance, they shooting up his home, right? And he does Chat GPT, right? That's more similar to like when the iPhone or Apple or Steve Jobs had Apple, right?
Right.
And in that beginning stage, people were like, oh my God, like this we don't know where this can go, but this can take over the future.
Right.
And then that aspect comes where now that sense of control over that digital product needs to happen for some people, right? So Chat GPT, if it can be controlled, right? But it makes sense, right? But maybe that CEO don't want to give up that control, right? Or maybe he doesn't want that certain things to happen because he, you know, makes the calls in certain meetings and certain things like that. And I think the same thing is going to happen with ChatGPT, just like it happened with Apple, right? I don't know what's going to happen to, you know, of course, the CEO or whatever's going to happen to him. But I do figure this, right? I think this would happen, like in the future. ChatGPT is going to be something that we have to use every day of our life. Just like the iPhone, right? And they're going to make different versions of it, and we're going to be more reliant on AI than we ever thought, right? Because it's going to be just like the phone. If y'all don't know, we're relying on the AI of the phone right now.
Yeah.
You know
Yeah,
what I'm saying? So it's only going to change to
yeah.
where now we rely on that to talk to the people we love or the people we want to talk to. Now we're going to have to rely, then we're going to be relying on that for our intellect. It's going to get scary.
You know,
pick up a book. Just pick up a book.
Yeah, facts. That's it.
Yeah, just pick up a book, bro.
That's true. And you know, let me ask, do you think, like, collectively, could humanity collectively go against big tech and say, hey, no? Like, ChatGPT, I know they have a free option and they have like a paid option, but is there a way for us to just like, do we have to stop buying phones, period? Hey, who got beepers out there? Who got some beepers? Do we got to go back to writing letters and putting it on a pigeon and like flocking it?
Yeah, bro, low key, right? I'm the type of person that should get a beeper. You know that? It's the way I respond to shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, I ain't gonna lie. They should have never gave me a phone. They should just gave me a beeper. Like, hit that. Just hit Jiggy up on the beeper. He may respond. He may not. I ain't gonna lie. Listen, if y'all ever see this, I'm not gonna lie, I am the worst. So I'm just gonna let y'all know that. But yeah, bro, you know what I mean?
Here's my brother. He's not lying. Listen, he ain't lying. But that's my bro. So I understand it. Like, I'm patient with him. Like, he may not always reply on time, but he will show up.
I know Steph be texting me sometime like, God, a day?
Nah.
A day?
Listen, no, but I get it, bro. You know, I understand it, man. I know.
Yo, bro, my mom called me today. She's like, are you okay? I've been trying to talk. I'm like, Mom, I don't even be looking at my phone.
No.
Bro, I was like, my mom was like, I've been trying to call you. You know, I've been trying to call Ma. Which phone, Ma? This number? I'm like, Ma, I'm sorry. Ma, I love you.
Listen, man.
I don't know. Me and this, I got beef with I got beef with these phones and these AIs. Listen, don't talk to me about an upgrade. I'll never do.
Listen, man. There's a point in my life where I had to go to Canada for a little bit, and I'll never forget. I think I went like a week. I ain't call my mom. My mom. You know, Jamaican moms ain't playing that. My mom comes like, say, I can't call nobody. Gone up, I can't pick up your phone. I was like, oh, my bad. You know what? It all clicked. I'm thousands of miles away, and the inner child in me is like, oh shit, I might get a beat. Like, yo, I messed up big time. You gotta keep in touch with Mom Dukes. But you know who's really worse? As bad as you are, I promise you, bro. I want to take a poll out there. Ladies, I want a challenge. I just want a collective, because I think the average woman nowadays has 50 unread messages in her phone. Easily. Like, you look at any woman's phone and you look at that little text box, it's somewhere between 50 and like 150.
I think it's even, bro. I think guys got that same thing too.
I have OCD. I have OCD. If I see a notification, it's like I gotta. That's why I put my rev receipts on. Because I don't. For me, it's like I'm the easiest person to get in touch with. Like, if you call me or text me, I'm usually like that. I can't do it. But just from the women who I'm close to in my life, I'll be looking like. Now emails. I think everybody email just be like 1,000 unread emails. Sometimes it's spam. You getting promotions and stuff like that.
It never happens to you where you read a text and you reply to it in your mind
all the time,
and then, or you might be typing, and you be like, somebody might come, hey yo, and you just be like, oh, put my phone down. That's me, bro. I'd be like, I don't know, it's ADHD that has grown. But if I'm texting, I might be thinking about it. I'd be like, no, you know what? I'm like, they should never gave me texting because I'm really thinking about this.
Like your cat come by, it's like, oh,
yeah, right. Oh, kidding. No, yo, bro, I swear to God, I'll be like this. Yo, I swear to God, I'll read the text. This is what happens. Notification comes up. I read it, I go, yeah, but, yeah. Well, all right, put my phone down. I never, I'm just worse,
This is how I know I was meant to have a podcast, because I'm such a yapper that, like, if I go too long, I'm like, I know I said something to somebody. I'll double back and look to make sure I hit send. I'm like, damn, this person really ain't reply back yet.
Yo, I know you be doing that. Yo, did I just text?
But you know what? It's all good. It's all love. But, you know, back to our main point. That was a nice little tangent. Back to our main point. There's a point, right?
Yeah.
Where it's starting to feel like technology was being created to make humanity's life easier. Like, I'm happy for phones. I'm happy for the internet. I'm happy for airplanes. I'm happy for FaceTime. I'm even happy for the iPhone. Like, I'm really happy for the iPhone. Androids, I'm joking, but you know.
Shout out to the green bubble.
Man, them green bubbles is horrible. Horrible. Anti-green. But, you know, now it's starting to feel like, oh, you know, technology is going to be impeding on humanity, impeding on our livelihoods a little bit too much. Like, you know, I'm watching the Start News like every day, and I can't believe that more people aren't paying attention to these people who are saying, hey, this is going to cost a lot of people their jobs. Like, let me tell you something, y'all. I live in South Florida. Y'all might be familiar with the Sun Pass. You know, maybe my people up in Orlando, I think it's called E-Pass or something to that degree, right? And I was cool when they used to have the little person in the box, you know, taking a ticket and whatever the case may be. And then you had the fast lane if you just wanted to throw your change in. Like, you saw people.
Yeah.
They got rid of all that. I don't know, you know, I guess, you know, new jobs. I'm sure those people got new jobs, but that was one less job for a person to do. And now you don't even have to have the Sun Pass. They're going to tow your license plate. Now, some of y'all letting your tolls add up to the end of the year and you ain't paying them. Some of y'all got about $500 worth of bills coming in every year on your birthday because you don't want to get a Sun Pass. That's neither here nor there. But now you're looking at, bro, I'm talking about analytic jobs. Like, I know people who had analytic jobs be like, man, I lost my job to AI. Like, you know, I can crunch numbers, but this supercomputer is going to expedite that in seconds. I might, HR jobs, you might be able to go through 20, 30 resumes, really read them, reach out, talk to people like, hey, AI, I'm going to put in this, and I can go through 150 resumes. It's like, there's no reason for, certain HR jobs. It's so many ways for this thing to take away people's livelihoods. I really don't know if it's worth it for AI podcasts or, to type something into ChatGPT that, I know Google has their AI now too, but like you can just type it in on Google. Like were we really missing anything? Like when I heard of ChatGPT, I'm like, is it really that new? Like, did we need this?
They're never going to give you an introspective thought, right? It's always going to be facts on top of facts on top of facts that they consider facts, I guess. And it's just going to be laid out in that format. And then, people listen to that. They listen to a podcast. They going to hit the AI. They going to be like, oh, how do you get sick? And then AI's gonna be like, you get sick from bam, 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 man. That's how it's going to be kind of.
And it all makes you think you have cancer.
It more makes you think you have cancer. There's no extra thought about it. There's no critical thinking. And people, that's what's happening in this generation that's going on now. Like there's not a lot of critical thinking. Right? Obviously we see a lot of things that's been happening lately, and critical thinking is not one of them.
No, we're about to go to that too. We're about to get to that too. Right.
But we see a lot of it. Up. You get what I'm saying? So not to go off topic, bro, but just to think about it, like even with the Poy Shiesty and the Gucci situation.
Oh, like definitely no thought process behind that.
Where he thought that he was gonna like get him to sign under duress, like he didn't critically think what happened if Gucci says something, or what happened if Gucci don't say nothing, but he wants to just get his insurance money back. Right. You get what I'm saying? Because he might fill out police report because he want to get his insurance money. After that, I'm done.
Exactly.
You get what I'm saying?
Exactly.
You don't critically think.
Or just knowing the law, like being smart, like, hey, he signed something under duress that's not going to hold up in court.
And he didn't think he was going to snitch. But bro, I know I'm going off topic here, but I've been having a hard time this week with understanding that snitch word and applying it to this type of situation because
I don't even apply it to because you know what it is, bro? It's like the snitch thing. Here's all I'll say, right? Without trying to sound like a street politician or anything like that. Because I'm sure you've probably heard some of the same things, right?
Right.
It used to be, if you and me go and do some work and do some dirt, we keep that between us.
Yes.
If you get jammed up or I get jammed up, I'm not about to throw you under the bus to save myself.
Yeah, exactly.
Growing up, for the most part, that was what a snitch was.
Yeah.
Right? When Jesus said, it's 3 a.m. in the morning, take your old ass to sleep. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? He wasn't calling the old lady a snitch. Yeah. He was just telling take your old like let me do my thing, stop hating on me. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. She wanted to snitch. Now, what the word snitch is a way for the criminals to duck accountability and just basically say, like, let me ruin your life, let me run rampant, and if you're a civilian or not, just shut your mouth. Like, it's extortion at this point. You know what I mean? Yeah. So I think that's what that is.
It's like this, right? Snitch, right? By definition, is personal or financial gaining financial or personal gaining or financially gaining something off of snitching, right? Mm-hmm. So that's why informants do it, right? Because they can gain something for it. In this situation where Gucci had lost something that he already had, he's not gaining anything back. He's just receiving what he had back before. Personally, he's not getting anything out of this. Right, situation or by going back to the cops, right? Bro, I tell you this right now, I don't know what businessman, if you just got robbed, you're not gonna go ahead and file your insurance for your insurance, exactly, right? Like if you're making money and you have bills and you have responsibilities, bro, if I lose my wallet at the gas station right now, right? I have insurance. You get what I'm saying? Like there's so many different insurances, of course, but I have insurance, so. You tell me, I'm not about to go risk my life just risk my life, risk my business, not see my kids. Man, please.
And then he should have asked ChatGPT for some better advice.
No, don't do it.
Listen, don't.
These are all the cons.
But you know what, ChatGPT, listen. Once again, man, here we are. Yeah. Where the orange man in the Oval Office posted a picture of himself depicted as a Jesus figure. That's not Jesus, but I'll say a Jesus figure, like supposedly healing somebody in a hospital, right? Yeah. Supposedly. And let's hear his explanation for that. Let's hear what the Orange Man had to say in describing what that was. Bear with me 1 second, audience. Let me get this audio ready for y'all.
Mr. President, did you post that picture of yourself depicted as Jesus Christ?
Well, it wasn't depicted. It was me. I did post it, and I thought it was me as a doctor, and it had to do with the Red Cross as a Red Cross worker there, which we support. And only the fake news could come up with that one. So I just heard about it, and I said, how did they come up with that? It's supposed to be me as a doctor making people better, and I do make people better. I make people a lot better.
Hey, yo, bro. Hey, Antoine, when's the last time you went to the hospital and you seen a doctor with a white robe and sandals?
Bro, listen, it goes back to exactly what you were saying earlier, bro. Listen, bro, it goes back to what you were saying. Somebody typed Trump giving back, Trump going ahead being a doctor, healing people. And that's what it turned out to. That's the picture that Chat GPT probably gave, or AI.
It was definitely AI something.
So I'm trying to tell you this right now, bro. Hey, listen, that's a crazy picture. And the only person only thing that I can see turning that to that is ChatGPT or AI, bro.
It can only
that's
be
crazy.
But here's the thing, bro. Let me just read this last bit of
crazy
of the article I read, right? Altman has quickly become the face of the global AI explosion, with OpenAI's ChatGPT the fastest growing app in history. While consumers and enterprises continue to sign up and use AI software, there has been backlash against the technology over fear of job losses and the environmental impact of the massive data centers that power these services. You mean to tell me that our clean water and environment is being put at risk so that Trump could try to depict himself as Jesus and then lie to you guys' face saying, I thought I was a doctor? Like, that's what came to my mind. I'm like, there's no way this is real life. Like this is a byproduct of factories being put into neighborhoods where they're saying that it's increasing the temperature like 10 degrees. Like, what? Come on. I mean, it was idiotic.
Yeah.
The statement he put out was idiotic. Mm-hmm. But, it really made me think. That's why I'm glad we kind of start this podcast so we can have some of these taboo talks. Because to your point, bro, people were playing around with him with that imagery for the better part of 3 or 4 years now. People were doing it with Charlie Kirk. I mean, it was, bro, the AI, some of the AI images that I've come across, and this is what gets me mad, right? I don't even interact with this algorithm. Like, I got a glimpse, like when Charlie Kirk passed away, it was such a big topic that my black Twitter feed was infiltrated, I'll say is the word, with some true social AI, because everybody was talking about it, that it was just a mixed match of algorithm. And I'm like, wait, why are they putting his face over Angel's? Oh, wait, this? Oh, wait, but and I'm like, oh, wait. Outside of black Twitter or like my black internet spaces, it's like that other side over the horizon. It's like when Mufasa told Simba, don't go over there. Hey, you see that line where the sun meets the land? Don't go that way. That is what that is on the other side, is those type of images, that AI, that AI slop and crap. But to lead into the next topic, there actually was a constructive conversation had by Big Bank and D1 this past week. And I thought it was so dope that, like, that conversation was had off the heels of us talking about our taboo conversation. Because I'm like, dang, look at that, it being had. And I'm like, kind of spoke that into the universe. Not going to take credit for it. Maybe it happened before us, but hey. I just feel like, sometimes
it needs to happen. That's it.
Sometimes you just put some of that energy out there and things just kind of come one, too. You had a chance to watch the interview.
Yeah.
As did I. Let me ask you, like, were you familiar with D1 prior to that interview at all?
Of course.
Mm-hmm.
Of course. I've listened to D1 periodically. Like I guess you get what I'm saying, in certain perspectives, he speaks a lot of truths.
Mm-hmm.
One thing from listening to the interview is that, love and hate is synonymous, and it's either they're gonna love you or they're gonna hate you, right? And when you start speaking truths or speaking about things people don't really want to talk about, right? So that's why the conversation is, talking about these things taboo. You know what I'm saying? Because it's like, some people gonna love you, some people gonna hate you. But that conversation, if you have it, just remember you're creating those two sides. Where, you know what I mean? So I listened to him. I thought I listened to him before. I've seen him before. What about you? Did you see him before?
I've seen D1 before. I wasn't always the biggest fan of his.
Yeah.
I didn't overly interact with his content. It was not so much that, like, I found like what he was saying or trying to do that was wrong or ill-willed or anything like that. I just didn't maybe agree with some of the calling out of certain people.
Yeah.
When they, didn't really do anything to you or warrant a call out. And it felt sometimes it can feel self-serving. I'm not saying it is, but it can feel self-serving because I get it. Like, even for us, we're in this content space where we're all trying to break through, make a wave, get a click that goes viral, or, grab attention. I understand it. You know what I mean? I know the purpose of it. I just maybe don't always agree with how we utilize it, right? Or how some people go about doing it. Overall, D1's a really solid dude, does a lot of positive things for the community. Sometimes I do worry that, like, he kind of surmises quote unquote black culture to like the worst parts that you might see from quote unquote black culture. And even as a believer in Christ myself, the interview was such a dope look at a conversation between a believer, and I don't want to say Bank is a non-believer, but I feel like I would put Bank maybe more in an agnostic type of way, or more of an agnostic type of box. And there was a few things, like a few main things. I think the one thing I want to start off with, and this is probably the most important. Us as Christians, right? When you're reading your Bible, you're studying your Bible, you're taught to be like armed with the word and being able to recall it, teach it, and show it through your actions, right? And one thing Banks said that I've heard throughout my life was like, well, what about when the preacher you go to the preacher, you have a question, he says, oh, you can't question God, you can't question God. I'm like, that is one of the worldly sayings that the Christian community needs to be conscious of and get rid of it. Because Banks said it there. You remember the documentary Stand with Abdul Rauf? I don't want to mispronounce his name. He was a basketball player with Terrell
Rahim?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Said the same exact thing in his documentary, and like what led him to Islam is because he got told that same thing, and he was like, that doesn't make sense to me. I think God wants man to think, and, led her straight from there. And he's right. And what's kind of dumbfounding about it is, like, you're read in the Bible. It's even said, in all things, sorry, people, in all things, search for wisdom. You can't search for wisdom and not ask questions. The thing is, like, I feel like oftentimes when that's said, it's like someone doesn't have the answer versus saying, I don't have the answer. They make it seem like God doesn't have the answer. And that probably does more harm than good in 99% of the cases. Like, even in just those two examples I gave, they led to someone veering off another way, right? Where we maybe don't look at the Bible as teaching the same way we do in school, right? You've probably been in a classroom setting. We all had the same book, same history book, same math book, and the same teacher. But you might be reading one thing and say, man, I really don't understand this. And you might look to your classmate and say, hey, how do you solve this problem? Or what does this part mean in this book?
Yeah.
And that classmate's able to help break it down in a way that you understand, instead of saying, well, I don't know, the book this is wrong, or, you know what I'm saying, deflecting some way. Like, we should take more approaches like that, where we, as believers, learn how to actually communicate when people aren't understanding, when it's not just like a quote-unquote blind faith, you know? I think that is one thing I took from the interview that was really important to me, in seeing that dialogue take place. The other thing, too, was they kind of even mentioned the Drewski skit when he was talking about the churches, the mega churches, and they brought that up, too, with how things are being represented. This is maybe not like the biggest group of people, right? And there's not a word for it necessarily, right? We'll call it, for all intents and purposes, like Reformed Christians, right?
Yeah.
That may be a wrong word, or maybe Reformed is not the right word. I'm not gonna harp on like what the label is, because like I said, there's not really much of a label. But there are a group of believers in Christ who see the shenanigans happening in churches, and those churches having a big platform and maybe misrepresenting what this is really supposed to be about. So much to the point where I've myself personally have come across a church using a Breaking Bad reference in church. And I said to myself, now, I love Breaking Bad.
No.
I don't think a pop reference to Breaking Bad, a show about selling meth, should necessarily be used in church. It's a reach, and that's the thing. It's like church is becoming theater now, just like how Drewski put in his skit. And whether it be the over dramatization of the church, whether it be, you know, certain political groups weaponizing the faith to galvanize, because they'll know that, like I think we said this off night, like that group would support this political party no matter what, because of whatever evangelical beliefs they believe in. It's like we're trying to find a way to like separate ourselves and show people like this is really what we're trying to get across. This is like really what we believe, really what we represent. And one prominent, I want to say maybe prominent, maybe isn't the word, but I'll say he's a successful YouTuber, former pastor, is Garrison Hayes. If you ever have a chance to check out his content, he does a lot of in-depth talks about this same topic. And I thought it was dope that, you know, you had that dialogue between Big Bank and D1. I suggest you guys to go check out that conversation, because it was really a good example of what we were talking about last week, coming off our taboo topics, where two people can sit down in front of each other and have moments where they agree, moments where they disagree, but overall just have a healthy conversation, and it be love at the center of that.
No, absolutely, bro. I mean, especially in that conversation about like the big churches and stuff like that, you know, I think one of the biggest things for people, like, because with Big Bang, that I realize is that he doesn't want to relieve any of the things that he did in his life and just say, hey, listen, somebody did it for me. Mm-hmm. Like it seemed like he wanted to make sure that people understand that he did it. Mm-hmm. And, you know, God was there for him, but he had to put in his work, and he wanted to take full responsibility and accountability for the certain things he put in his life. So it's different perspectives. Mm-hmm. Some people do things and they want to, you know, assert the accountability to by praying or give it to God and say, hey, listen, I'm going to go on with my life. That helps them mentally. And some people take on some of the things and take accountability for it. You know, and I definitely understand, like, both of their perspectives. Mm-hmm. You get what I'm saying? Because I feel like as a human being, you start off as a human, and then everything else comes and puts in, and your experiences make you who you are. And that's what differentiates us, because we all start off basically the same. You get what I'm saying? And I feel like D1, he did a good job at breaking down, like I was saying earlier in this podcast, like how a lot of us are brainwashed to believe in a lot of the things. One of the main things that I felt like was important that he was saying is that the state that we're in with hip hop right now, the culture itself, right, where you know, how you want me to believe that, you know, this is our music when the only thing I hear from the music is killing other black people, doing bad things to black women and all these different things, or, you know what I mean? Yeah, got children doing things they shouldn't be doing. Like, these are the things that I'm speaking, but then you want him to believe, and what he's basically saying is, but you want me to believe this is our culture. This is the music we're listening to. And let's go back to what you were saying earlier too, because you're like, you know, you don't believe everything he says or whatever the case is. I just want trying to figure out, like, what parts of, like, do you feel like is not true? Because I do understand the points of what we have right now as our culture, or what we think is our culture, is not our culture. And that's what, you know, I'm under that belief. You know what I'm saying? Because I would never accept, for instance, I feel like this whole situation that happened even with Gucci Man and Gucci Man and Shiesty is a perfect example why this is not our culture. You know why? Because soon as Poor Shiesty gets out, gets better, but then he happens to do whatever he did. Instead of in this situation, people are looking where it's like a horrible situation. People are looking at Gucci like, oh, he snitched, right? Businessman, right? And then people are encouraging, not people not saying, I know some people think, oh, why did Shiesty do that? But some people are like, damn, but why did he have to snitch on Shiesty? When is Shiesty going to learn not to do that? You get what I'm saying? So that's basically our culture, right? We never want to learn from our mistakes. We don't want nobody else to get better. Oh, it's the code. We got to stick by this. The code, like you said earlier, if you do something and I snitch on you, that's a snitch. You get what I'm saying? But if you're forcing somebody's hand, and there's a thing called business and negotiating, bro, it's a totally different thing.
Right.
You get what I'm saying?
Right.
So, you know, I really appreciate the fact of, you know, just like them having that actual conversation, speaking about things from, you know, what people actually believe in, right? Like, and people try to make that, you know, thing bigger than what it is. Like, hey, listen, if somebody wants to go to church and somebody believes in what they want to go to church and they believe in it and they read the Bible, they're the same person as somebody who doesn't. This is truly how I feel, right? I feel like the differentiating of it, right, becomes when somebody wants somebody to believe what they want to, imposing, right? Their beliefs on somebody else, right? I feel like this world, just like how we have these conversations, make it more easier for people. Like, for instance, if you have a Christian talking to an atheist, the Christians probably, or even the atheists on their side, are going to look at it and be like, everything they're saying is wrong. I don't believe it. There's no, I kind of understand what you're saying.
Right.
You get what I'm saying?
Right.
And that's what makes it kind of hard to have those conversations.
Right.
You get what I'm saying?
Right. And don't get me wrong, that, you know, most people aren't mature enough or open-minded enough to have those talks. You know, you were asking me about like some of the things I don't believe that D1 is correct on. Like I said, it's not so much that he's quote unquote wrong. It's more like I don't believe in attacking the music. I believe in attacking the environment or the system. You know what I mean? So let's break it down, right? He was talking about hip hop and let's call it drill culture, right? Like hip hop has gotten extremely violent over the last 10 or so years, maybe a little bit longer than that, right? Whether it's the case of the Pooh Shiesty, and it's probably one of the more lighter cases we've had. We've seen Young Dolph get violently gunned down. We've seen Nipsey Hussle get violently gunned down. We've seen people like FBG Duck get violently gunned down. We've seen, even recently, I just discovered a story because I was checking on an artist that was on Kendrick's last project and found out that he's indicted, not convicted, but indicted on a murder case. And the person who lost their life lost it. It was gruesome, bro. Like multiple shots to the face stood over him. Like it was bad, right? You're seeing the situation that Dirk is in, fighting a murder for hire. It's a long list. The fact that I can even name like just 6 examples off the top of my head is crazy.
Fulio, yeah.
You know, Fulio, that situation. I feel like the music is always going to reflect what's happening currently. That's what hip hop was birthed from. Like, it came from the streets, it came from the inner city, and it wasn't always inherently violent. But like, even if you go back to days of like a Curtis Blow, or you go and you listen to The Message, and it's like, don't push me, cause I'm close to the edge. And they're talking about the tension and the poverty and anxiety that was in the moment, right? Nowadays, you're looking at the music and you're hearing young artists come from certain environments where it's not even like hustler culture anymore, but it's literally just like violent street culture, and the music's reflecting that. So versus attacking the music, how do we change the environment that these young kids are growing up in? How are we parenting these kids? How are we putting resources into these kids, you know? And that's the thing that I'd be trying to get across to people, is that, especially for the people who have, and having that empathy to look and say like, man, you know, this environment could have made me into that. Like, I'm blessed to have maybe have had both parents, or I'm blessed to maybe have gone to a different school or been raised in even a lower middle class environment, you know?
Yeah.
But these kids are coming from, like, whether it be like the south side of Chicago's and you're hearing about the O Blocks and the Lamrons, or you're a kid from North Philly, or, you know, you're a kid from Los Angeles and, you know, you're a Hoover, or you're a Crip, or you're from Compton. You know what I'm saying? All these, you know,
Variations.
environments and variations that, you know, come from like very dire circumstances. It's like, how are we coming together as a community, especially like for the people who have, like, how often do you take time to donate to the schools that are underprivileged? How often do you take time to, you know, I feel like even things like after school programs, right? Like, beyond just the sports, but like give kids after school programs that, you know, match their personalities or give them an avenue to express themselves in different ways, you know? I remember I came across this like video that was random. It was about this kid in Baltimore who was maybe like 12 years old and was carrying a pistol around with him every day. And there was an older dude in the neighborhood who was like, hey, bro, trade that pistol in for this camera. And he was like, what you mean? It's like he did that every day for like 2-3 weeks. And the kid's like, man, I like this camera. Like, photography is like my thing. He discovered a passion that he liked. That passion might give him the focus that he needs, not to make bad decisions out there in his environment. You know what I mean? And that's kind of like my thing with D1, is like he spoke so much about, oh, change the music, change the music, change the music. I'm like, I think if you change the environment, the music gonna change. Like, Master P has this old interview where he was like, yo, look around, like, you know, Master P's from New Orleans in the 90s. You know what I'm saying? I want to say the Calliops, if I'm not mistaken, if I'm not pronouncing that project wrong. Yeah. And he's like, yo, look around. You see any pools around here? You see any, like palm trees, Lamborghinis? Like, nah, what you see is the bricks.
Yeah.
Like, these dudes are in the trenches, so, like, what do you think we're rapping about?
Wow.
Like, our day-to-day lives, like, we talk about, like, you don't know what you don't know. So, like, my thing with D1 is that, you know, the music, I feel like it's like a byproduct. It's not the source. And I feel like deal with the source, I think the music changes. I think if you take a lot of these musicians, I mean, maybe some of them are older. Like you said, Pusha is long removed. Like, he's been rich enough for long enough to start looking at things differently than to try to strong arm someone into doing something you like, because you're not conducting business, you're operating in the streets. And you're not even understanding how the business works. So that was a great point that you brought up. And I do believe hip-hop, we can transition to our next topic, because it was a music topic where hip-hop is in a very unique space, right? Mm-hmm. Where I feel like the genre is getting more so back to its roots. Back in the day, and you're from New York, so you maybe even know this more so like more intimately than I do. Like, you said, talk about like the crate diggers, the people that you would go from music shop to music shop, go through crates and find the records, spin the records, find the dope samples that no one's using. You know what I'm saying? Like, one of the best at it was Q-Tip, legendary producer. That's kind of like where hip hop is now, where to find that good hip hop, it takes an effort. Yeah. It takes a little bit of digging. I feel like hip hop is turning inward. I'll give a sports example. Like, if you're a basketball player, any hooper knows that, like, if you're in a shooting slump, you don't, step further back from the basket to shoot. You go closer to the basket, you go underneath the basket, and you get your form and your touch right, so you build confidence. And I've been seeing a lot of debate online talking about, oh, well, hip hop's not on the charts, or hip hop is down this amount percent, or hip hop's not good without a certain person, da 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 da. And I'm looking like, man, hip hop has had so much great music, and it's been positive music being put out. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So many things have changed where, you know, the golden era of the music business was, you know, selling records, CDs, tangible things. Like this digital era, it's harder to sell something because everything is so accessible.
Yeah.
Now, hip hop's gone more so like to the crate digging era where it's more closer to home. And now there's a lane open because now all that violent music that was selling at one point, because at one point, let's not get it twisted, the violent songs were 100% on the charts, selling the most records, over 100K first week, you know, playing in the clubs everywhere, all that. Now that phase is finally kind of died down, and it took a long time to die down, in that midst, even some of the depression music, like there was this wave of artists that were, you know, more so leaning into drug use, mental health issues. You know, mental health became a buzzword around that time.
Yeah.
And depression became a buzzword around that time, whether it be Juice WRLD, God bless his soul, XX Testosterone, God bless his soul, even some artists who were kind of on that fringe of like rock and hip hop type, like a Lil Peep, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like it's a pretty decent list of those guys that are no longer making music, and those gentlemen that I just named are no longer here, where now everything's kind of quiet.
Yeah.
And I feel like now's the time for the dust to settle and for something new to grow.
Yeah.
I think now's the time for, you know, this next generation of artists to not have to worry about being on a chart. Like if we're not on the charts, great. We can create freely, create from the heart, create from what you feel, and put that out instead of, you know, having to chase a sound, having to worry about this placement or that placement or my image and do I fit into this current sound. You can create something out of nothing.
So, you know, the whole time you were speaking, bro, I realized you said I may know this more than anybody, like digging through crates. How old do you think I am, bro?
No, I say that. I only said that as a New Yorker who's deep into his New York culture. I'm sure you probably,
I know,
you probably. Now,
I was like,
let me tell you,
I'm 50, I'm 60 years old.
Hey, you know why I said that? Because I'll never forget. Like you was like, yeah, man, I'll never forget. My dad used to sit around, make me listen to Curtis Blow and who's the storyteller on that? Not Rakim, the older dudes love
Slick Rick.
Slick Rick.
Yo, Slick Rick. Nah, I ain't gonna lie. My pops just made me listen a Slick Rick and then watch white and black movies. I don't know. So I wouldn't miss anything. But
Oh man.
just going to what you were saying though, right, bro? Like first things first, right? I do think that hip hop right now is at a low point, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I do think that either hip hop is going to eventually change or hip hop is going to eventually turn into a different genre. And I think that because if it's not profitable, right, then hip hop is going to become irrelevant. You know, and the reason why I say that is because a lot of the basis of hip hop right now is based off of money making music and not music that is actually good. Not based off the artist itself, right? So that genre of hip hop, when it becomes people are not trying to make money off of it no more, what are people going to listen to when they're used to listening to this stuff over and over and over again? Like, when am I going to go to a club and listen to J. Cole? You get what I'm saying? So, you know, you got to think about it, right? Every type of music has its space, you get what I'm saying? And I think that a lot of the spaces actually make a lot of money. Hip hop where it was just etching in, like one of the one songs or one of the one albums that may be there, it's just falling out of the picture. You get what I'm saying? And I feel like us as a culture or us as the people, you get what I'm saying? Of course we could support these artists, but the majority of the people that were buying the music are not the people that listen to it, that talk about it the most. Think about it. The demographics that buy it most, the demographics that buy it the most is usually white America that buys the most of black music. You get what I'm saying? And it's because there's more white people in America than there is black people, percentage-wise. You get what I'm saying? It just makes sense. It's logical, right? Just like there's more poor white people than there is poor black people overall.
Right, that's the mainstream.
You get what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So if it's etching out of it, people don't want to hear it. It seems like the people who are buying it don't want to hear it. And then what's going to happen with us at that point? Are we going to still support the music that we want to hear? Are we still going to support it the way? Because I haven't seen us as people support the music the way it should have been supported. If so, we would have been still getting this great artists, making great music, making great albums, and making us feel like a kid again. Well, we don't.
So, you know, because I get what you're saying. Because, you know, at the end of the day, you know, no one wants to be like a starving artist, and you're right. Like, you know, but I like that. I like that it's coming back home to us. I think I look at an artist like a Freddie Gibbs, and I see the tour that he went on when he released Alfredo 2 Alchemist, and pack shows.
Yeah.
You know, venues maybe 3,000 to 5,000 people.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like you don't always need to be in these arenas, you know, to feel the love and to make a lot of money off your music.
Mm-hmm.
I look at the clips, the tour they went on. Same thing, like amphitheaters, pack shows, maybe 8,000 to 10,000 people.
Yeah.
You know, singing word for word. I don't have the article with me because I read this maybe a few months ago around the same time this whole hip hop is at a low point thing started to happen. And they were talking about how much vinyls are being sold. Like there's a huge demand in vinyls. People want tangible things. They want to interact with the art. And I get it. As a kid who grew up loving to go to FYE, that's for-year entertainment for some of you. I'm aging out myself. I'm aging out myself a little bit.
How old are you?
Hey, man, I'm 34, man. It's not that old, dog. It's not that old, bro. I was a kid. I loved this hip-hop stuff, man. As a kid who took out his favorite album covers and used to pin them on his wall, bro. Like, I miss the tangible aspect of music. It makes you feel like you're involved a little bit more. You cherish it a little bit differently, you know? So the fact that vinyls are such a big thing now is super dope to me. It lets me know, okay, cool, there's definitely a lane. That's why, like, a lot of these artists, when they announce their albums, they're announcing vinyl pre-orders and getting them out, you know what I mean? And here's what I'll say, like, for the people who think hip-hop is at low, I'm going to use a stock comparison, right? Sometimes the stock starts here and goes up here, and it's a new all-time high, right? Then it might push up a little bit more, and then it returns to the previous all-time high, and it holds there. And someone will be like, oh, my God, the stock was just here 2 weeks ago. It's down 5%. But it's up 130 from a year ago. And that's kind of like what hip-hop is right now.
Yeah, hip-hop is
like,
GameStop. That's
like,
what hip-hop is.
No, definitely not GameStop. Definitely not
If you want to compare
GameStop. Definitely not GameStop.
It's GameStop.
Definitely not
Look,
GameStop. Definitely not GameStop.
Right?
No.
GameStop held on, right, because of the pandemic, right? And people bought the stock. They ain't get the store wasn't making no money. The stock was making money, right? So, for instance, you think that the stock of hip hop is still valuable, where it's still going to rise, right?
100%,
right? And I say GameStop because I feel like the value that you think is there, like people thought, you know, there's no value there. Just to me, there's no value there.
There was no value in GameStop. GameStop's a different thing. That was a cultural phenomenon, and not to get stock nerd out, I don't want to. I can explain to you. You guys want me to explain what a short seller is and how that works, how the short scheme works? I'm not gonna get into that. No, I'm not gonna get into that. I'm not gonna do that to y'all. But what I'll say is this, right? Why I say hip hop is the previous example prior to GameStop is because sometimes you just got to come to where you were before. You find your new footing, and that's what you call consolidating. And that's why I say this like an open lane. Let the dust settle. And I believe we're going to see something new and beautiful arise in hip-hop. Maybe it's because I'm a fan of the genre. I believe in the next generation. And not only that, I believe in some of the older acts that are showing how successful that they can be without the need of labels. And us owning the art and controlling the art and dictating the art the way we did when it was first conceived, you know? So that's what I'm looking forward towards it. But
Hey, bro, I believe in GameStop. I believe GameStop can create new stores where
Good
they can
luck,
bring,
man. That
they
brick
can
and
bring the
mortar-
game, where they could bring the gaming experience back into to making people want to buy games. They can do. There's a lot of different things that GameStop can do to bring the gaming experience back, where people don't feel like they just got to be home, and they can bring it to a different level. Like, bro, everything you're saying is to me, you know, because this is just my perspective, right? Conversation, have the conversation. Perspective is perspective. Based off my perspective, I just feel like, you know, everything that has to do with hip hop right now, right? The bubbling up. For instance, the bubbling up for GameStop was based off of bullcrap. The bubbling up for hip hop when it was when it's making the most money was bullcrap, right? When it goes back down, you realize people are not going to GameStop because there's nothing really in GameStop that people have to go there for. And when it trickles down, you realize, damn, people are not listening to hip hop as much as I thought. Right? And it starts trickling down. And that's the only reason why I would even give that comparison to GameStop, right? Now, it's really up to, I think, what you're saying. There may be a new wave that comes, right? It may be a new wave that may change the game, right? And I believe that can happen. But, you know, 40, 30% belief in that.
I mean, you know, we'll see. You know, time will tell. I'll just say, like, you know, my only thing is, like, because GameStop is a POS company, so I can't compare hip hop to GameStop.
You can't talk to him about stuff. No.
Yeah, I'll just say I can show you some SEC findings about GameStop. Listen, man, listen, so many GameStops have closed down, and like I said, like, it's hard. Like, I mean, J. Cole sold over 300,000 records first week. Baby Keem released his album, sold over 90K records first week. Last year, Clips had like 120K first week. Like, hip hop, when it's good and it's packaged the right way, it sells.
And PS5.
You know what I'm saying? It sells. So
PS5 at GameStop.
It's like, no. See, the thing is, these kids getting that PS5 from Walmart and ordering it online now. And the problem with GameStop is GameStop is a brick and mortar, and people are downloading games now. So it's like what you're seeing happen to GameStop is what happened to Blockbuster with Netflix. Funny enough, there's a story that Blockbuster could have bought Netflix and owned Netflix, and they turned it down. And then Netflix ended up kicking them out the game. I'm not gonna get all stock nerd.
You know. Hey, listen. GameStop, a lot of fluff that made up for it, right? Listen, bro, you can't tell me anything right now. You know why?
Why?
Jack Harlow's about to come out with a Neo Soul album.
Well, it's out. Oh, my God.
He came out with a Neo Soul album,
out with that.
right?
Listen.
So,
Oh my God! Hey, listen,
exactly.
Hold on. Listen, see.
So if you want to talk about fluff,
but that is. Listen, let me tell you something. You know, we're what are we on right now? We're like an hour and 11 minutes.
Oh, listen,
I spared Jack Harlow only because that was when we were on our break. Yeah. You know, we were finding our new location. We were getting our new devices in the mail. And I was out of town. I seen it. And then, oh, man, like my Black Panther hat. I didn't get to break out my Black Panther hat. I was looking around for it. And then I got distracted. You see, I got distracted by Jake Paul because he was talking about really trying to do blackface. So I was getting ready. I was like, if he really do it, I'm going to really put on, like, I was going to come in here. You was gonna
be Steph. You was gonna be Jake.
No, oh my God! I was about to come in here like, who would I be? I don't know. I would have been like Malcolm X Jr. or something. Like I was about to go crazy.
Oh, you about to go? Oh, you about to?
But let me. Oh man, I might have had an AK in here.
Looking out the window.
Looking out the window. Like you see the windows. I've been looking out the window. The AK. All right. But let me tell you something, Jacko. Just a quick tidbit. Before we get out of here, blackface doesn't have to be physically performed. It can also be artistically performed, so to speak.
That's right.
And that is what Jack Harlow tried to do. Jack Harlow's trying to put on artistic blackface. Get your dumb ass out of here. All right? I'm gonna leave it at that. And, you know, before we wrap things up, we just, you know, you have some playoff predictions you want to tell the people?
Just quick, right, before you guys leave, right? New York Knicks, right, are the number 3 seed in the playoffs, right? Watch them, right? Because I feel like they're going to come out the East. Please watch the Spurs, right? Because I think that they're going to come out the East. The West. I'm sorry about that, right? Now, these are the few things I want you to listen to right now, right? You guys think James Harden and Donovan Mitchell are not going to go far. They are going to go far. That's one thing, right? Nobody can guard either one of them, right? And then I just want to let you guys know who are rooting for Houston and who are rooting for the Lakers. They're going bye-bye. You know what I'm saying? Because the duo of LeBron James and Kevin Durant is 2010, right? So, they're going to be out of it, you know what I'm saying? But you got OKC. I personally don't want to see OKC go back to the championship because I just feel like, I don't know, I just don't want to see them go back to the championship, bro. I feel like they built for the next 20 years and they can get it next year. You know what I'm saying? But just wanted to make that prediction. Just wanted to say that about my NBA team and just throw the Knicks up out there, bro. But other than that, you got anything to say before we leave today, bro?
James Harden's going to piss down his leg at some point. At some point during this playoff run. I actually might even pick Toronto just because I think Scotty Barnes might have James Harden in the torture chamber. Playoff James Harden is not one to be trusted. Do not put your money on him. I'm not a gambler. This is not financial advice. But just know that if you did want to bet on something, bet that Harden will piss down his leg.
20
Be
push-ups.
like, oh, my God, I am not an athlete.
20 push-ups.
All right, what?
Toronto beats Cleveland, right? I'll give you 20 push-ups. I'll come back on the stream, 50 push-ups.
I don't want to bet that Toronto beats the Cavaliers. I want to bet that James Harden pisses down his leg. And goes, oh my God.
I was just trying to bring a healthy way of gambling because everybody else doing crazy ways.
Listen, oh my God, I am not an athlete. And forgets how to play basketball again. I think the Knicks beat the Atlanta Hawks in 6. The West. Gotta watch Denver, man. Denver. Watch Denver very, very closely. If Denver's healthy, they got a great chance to come out the West. Hot take. I feel like the Knicks had the Boston Celtics number. I don't know what it was.
I do think so, too.
I thought that last regular season game when they played, that the Celtics might have showed like, yeah, nah, that what happened last year was different. But watching that game, I said, it could be a matchup problem for the Celtics. Yeah. They don't play well against the Knicks, apparently. So I feel like the East is still open to either the Celtics or the Knicks. I know they would have to play each other to make it to the finals.
Yeah.
Detroit's going to be interesting.
Interesting team, right?
Right?
Interesting.
And we have to keep a watch to see who LaMelo trips. Have to keep a watch to see who he's going to take out to get to where he needs to go.
That was kind of spicy. That's crazy.
Hey, listen. Calls it like I sees it. He tripped him. It was pretty blatant. As far as Sports 6, I think that's all the Sports 6 I got. Anything else you want to say to the people, bro?
Hey, listen, y'all. Please comment, subscribe, tell your friend and tell a friend. And if they tell a friend, tell them to tell another friend.
Tell another friend.
You know what I mean? Because the more you guys comment, that helps the algorithm, right? And then also, too, that helps to build the conversation that we can have here because we take what y'all say and try to build upon it. And if we having that conversation, we can build upon what y'all saying and can bring more conversations that y'all guys might want to hear. Right. So please engage. Please, let us know how you guys feel, okay?
We want to hear from you guys. Talk to us, man. And y'all been talking to us. We hear y'all.
We appreciate it. We love it.
Look at me, almost about to break the mic.
Yeah. The mic said, I gotta go.
Yeah, the mic's like, man, I'm tired. Like these niggas been talking for a minute. Hey, listen, y'all. Like we said, like, comment, subscribe. We'll see you on the next one. Peace.
One.